Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, which is probably in the UK. What do we have today? Well, it's Saturday morning right now when I'm doing this video, and it's 11:30, and I haven't had breakfast, so it's time for some food. So, as we said, when I got the sausage rolls, I also got this pack. Sausage bean melt. Now, there's two. These were 86p, which makes them 43p each. They do need cooking. They are frozen. The pack says they're 308, so that's 154 grams each. We'll find out if that's true. They take 26 to 28 minutes. Weird, it has 30 minutes on the front and 26 and 28 on the back. Unless you're using a gas oven. That's what uses the 30. Which was strange, because the other one, the sausage rolls didn't matter which item you used. So, they are very similar to the sausage. And 142 grams on that one. We have two, of course. This one's sticking a little bit to the box. So I put a little hole in it, getting it, because that's where it was sticking. That one, that's 152. Let's try that, because this says it's only 294 grams. Turn off. $290 grams. 308 grams. There's an underweight here. Something that's really bad and not what you should be doing. So, I have to now go and put these in the halogen. We'll start with the tops. We'll give them 15 minutes, see if that gets them to the colour that we want. Turn them over and cook from the bottom. Inside, if you take it, it's beans and sausage, and the sausage is sliced, so it's not a solid mass. So therefore, we don't really need to worry too much about the inside contents, because they're not a solid, dense item, so therefore they should cook with whatever time it takes for the outside to do. So we need to come back when I have them all cooked in about, let's hope, about between 20 and 25 minutes. So see you back when that's done. So we are back. We have them cooked. They're right here. We just wanted to say that we have 27% of the weight is baked beans, 14% is the sausage, and this has cheese in it, and that makes up 1%. That are the only figures that they will give us on here, but of course they have sugars and starches like everything else does. But it does say on the front in our little bit here that we have 31% fat, 15.3% saturated, 2.8 sugar, and 1.21 grams of salt. So, how did we do for the cooking time? Once again, 15 minutes on the top, turned it over, was going to give it another 10. I stopped at 7 because they were far enough that it was cooked to what I could see. So I have it right here. Make sure it doesn't slide off the plate. So you see, just a light colouring for the bottom to cook rather than overdoing it. I did leave them in after I turned off the halogen for another couple of minutes, so the heat was still there, but it wasn't doing any colouring. Do we still have our tape? Yes, we have our tape. So, 11 centimetres long, 9 centimetres wide, and about 2.5 tall. As we said, the weight is a little under what the box says it should be in. If you take it when you get the Morrison's one, they don't sell via weight, it's just via the item. There is a number of other places that do exactly the same thing, but this was sold on weight, and it is under the weight. I don't know how far you could go under the weight before it becomes illegal, because you're not supposed to sell underweight items. So let's cut one in half. Now, if the insides aren't warm enough, I don't have to put them back in the oven. I can heat the contents of the insides in the microwave for probably about 30 seconds. So by the time I'm finished doing this video, if the insides have gone a little bit colder and I want to warm them up, 30 seconds would be enough in the microwave to just heat the centres back up again. So we do have more pastry. See if I can. See how big the sausage bit is. So this is a bit of sausage. It's about that long inside. Now I've tipped it that way, all the beans have now gone to that bottom bit. But you don't always get a lot of content within these type of things unless you're spending more money. So when I've finished eating the rest of them, I will be putting a little bit of sauce on, because that's what I normally do. I'm weird in that manner. But thing comes as that. It's definitely hot. And definitely very nice. Yes, I don't need to heat the centre. I was right, that length of time was more than enough to heat because of it not being a solid mass. Yes, you won't get piles of content on the simple grounds as that they're not very much money. You can pay more than £1 for one, and then you would expect a lot more content. You're paying 85 pence for two. Now let's go back to cost to cook. I came in at about the same amount of cooking time as the sausage rolls. And actually the sausage rolls tasted even nicer when they'd cooled down the next day. They were then more crispy and they were really nice the next day. I don't have any left. Somebody ate them, not quite sure who it was, possibly it could have been me. But there you go. So for these, yes, yep, they're fairly cheap, 86 pence. You have to add on another probably 15 pence for cooking, depending on if you're using the oven or the halogen. My halogen, 15 minutes top, turn over. It was about 7 minutes. Leave the lid on, turn it off, leave it for a couple of more minutes, and that's more than enough. The pastry's cooked more than enough with that. If you do like them a much darker colour and you like them more burnt, then yes, leave them in for a little longer. But for my colouring, I like the colour that I have. So you might say I much prefer it a little darker. That's your preference. I like it. I like them the colour they are. They're a nice golden colour. They look cooked. I don't like them really overcooked. So, with that, would we buy these again? Yeah, we still have to watch that we're getting, by the time you allow for the cooking time, and that cost on top of the cost of buying them, so they do come nearer to the pound price. if you can buy any already cooked. So therefore, if Morrison's do a deal where they're doing 2 for £1, which they have done in the past on some of their pies and sausage rolls and stuff, then I would go to buy them over buying these because they're more convenient and they look bigger. But with these, you know, I wouldn't technically. The Morrison's ones are nice. We like the pastry. There is a little more in them, but then you are paying a little more for them. So you have to balance that out of content of what's in versus the cost that you're paying for it. If you're not paying a lot, then you can't imagine you can put loads in. You have to balance the price. But, yep, so I'm going off now to eat both of these with a bit of sauce on for my breakfast stroke dinner, because it's now 12:15. Told you it would take a little time. And that's mostly because I didn't straight put the last ones in when I talked to you the last time. But with that, 86p is still a decent price. I would say that you're probably going to have both. So, not because you're greedy, but because if they're for kids, yeah, one will work fine for a child. If they like beans and sausage, that's small cut sausage. So, but don't imagine that you're going to find a lot. Okay, so with that, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for your notifications. I will see you on my next video. That may not be food, but maybe. I have no idea. I haven't decided yet. So with that, bye for now.